Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the LVLing Up podcast, where we have the absolute pleasure to speak with business owners who have done something strategic or out of the box to transform their business. First things first, I know it's hard to believe, but I'm not Jasmine O'Reilly. My name's Ben, and I'm the new host of the LVLing Up podcast. Now, today's guest, I've been fortunate enough to get to know over the past 2 or so months now, as Level Up and Vizual have been working together. So I'm somewhat pre-informed, but I'm sure there's still plenty for me to learn, and more importantly, plenty of great tips for our listeners to learn. So without any further ado, Liv Wilson, welcome to the podcast. Tell me a bit about yourself and all about Vizual.
Thank you. Firstly, thanks so much for inviting me on the show. It's such an honor. So a little bit about me, a little bit about Vizual. Well, yes, my name is Liv Wilson, and I own Vizual, which is an end-to-end digital marketing company. I'm the founder. It's a bit of a one-woman band, which is really exciting and definitely something that I'm very proud of running and owning. What we do at Vizual is help lots of business owners with their digital identities, and we just take them through journeys, whatever that might mean for them. Sometimes it's content creation and management. Other times it's more like paid advertising and strategy. And sometimes it's, major brand refreshes, giving the brands like big makeovers and helping them out in that way.
Awesome. Now, your career journey to get to where you are today has been quite the roller coaster. Take us right back to the start. What was the career you first jumped into following university? And then how did you get to owning and running a digital marketing agency?
Yeah, of course. So my career started after I graduated from acting school. My life pre-Vizual definitely revolved a lot around performing, hosting, broadcasting, and things like that. So yeah, my first job, which is still such a big passion of mine, was sports broadcasting, specifically within like the baseball sector, which is interesting. Every time I tell somebody that, they're like, "Really? Was it in Australia? Like Brisbane? What?" But yeah, we do actually have quite an interesting baseball scene down under. So yeah, started out with that. I realistically just came into the picture doing post-game reports and doing lots of press releases, writing lots of like updates and player announcements and things like that. And then I really I kind of wrote myself a job, like my new job description whilst I was in there, which that's a common theme you'll see with me. Done that a couple of times, but I sort of leveled myself up and started running a lot more of the social media and just really had a higher presence within their broader digital marketing world. I moved from the specific team that I was working for to the state organization and worked there for quite a while. And then interestingly enough, I started getting offers from people outside of the sporting world. "Hey, Liv, can you help me with such and such for my production agency and my small day spa and cafe and this and that?" And I was like, wow, this is really interesting. And it never was something that I actually planned for happening. And so I just decided to quit that job, and I started just freelancing for quite a number of years. I think it was pretty consistently for about 3 years. And look, I had a couple of jobs like scattered throughout there, but I was pretty self-sufficient with the freelancing. And then I ended up working in a sales company, which, if you know me, it's like that's not my thing. I'm a great doer, and obviously, like working as a freelancer, you have to market yourself and sort of sell yourself. But then going into a full-on sales company was very, very different. So I worked there for a little while, and I thought, you know what, this isn't really my style, but their website wasn't too crash hot, and there was a few spelling mistakes here and a few little things here and there. So I wrote myself another job description and gave myself a bit of a promotion. Obviously, very lucky to work in that place that was, let me do that. And gave myself the little hat of brand manager for that company. And that is really where I made a lot of my current connections and also learned so much. So I worked there for, I think, about 1.5 years, and really got like the broad picture of what end-to-end marketing is and how amazing that can actually be for companies. big and small. Yeah, so that was pretty much the journey. And then fast forward a little while, Vizual was created, which was such a dream. Like it was, you know, I actually just today I was going through some files of mine and I saw like a list of mine that I made when I was kind of ready. You know, I was thinking of maybe moving on from my previous job, and it was just a list of all the things that I could do. And I remember sitting there in my room, like writing out, okay, under content creation, I can do these things. Under brand strategy, I can do these things. And I just made this massive like visualization of what I can do and what I have to offer. And then that sort of was turned into Vizual, and it was started as a co-founded company. And yeah, we worked with a couple of really nice business owners in that like initial period, and it just really grew from there.
That's awesome. I gotta jump back. So you were first a baseball fan. I assume still are a baseball fan. Now we've had many meetings together, and I've never said this, but I've actually been to a Yankees versus Red Sox game in New York, and it was amazing.
Yeah, and of course it was.
you might be able to attest to this, but I think baseball is a very polarizing sport in a sense that people either love it or they hate it.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember
100%.
The rest of my family hated it, but I loved it. See, I come from a tennis background, so the bit more calm, not rowdy sports environment is definitely my scene.
Not as much beer involved, I would imagine.
Not as much.
Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. And it's super stereotypical of, like, as you see in movies with the batter up. So yeah, baseball, totally get why you have an interest in that. Is awesome.
Yeah, it's such a fun sport. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'd imagine going from a co-ownership structure where the roles are split to having 100% responsibility on your shoulders is difficult. How did you cope with that? And do you have any tips for pivoting in business when times get tough?
Yeah, 100%. It definitely was an interesting restructure. It was very pivotal for the company and me personally, which I look back on sometimes and I still tear up and think, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. But yeah, tips for rolling with the punches. I think you just have to truly believe in yourself and back your vision, even if it's a small vision, and even if it's, you know, not progressing as fast as you want. Like even now I'm thinking, oh, but I still want to do this and I still want to do that. But it's just, about backing yourself. And I think really being honest, that's something that I sort of learned and retaught myself throughout this restructure that Vizual had, was just, what do I think is okay and what do I think is not okay, and what do I want to leave as my legacy, and how can I best help people, and you know, what's something that I can offer truly. And once I asked myself those questions, I realized that the business as it stood wasn't quite a true representation of all of those things. And then obviously we had the restructure in many different ways, even beyond the co-ownership. Like I was lucky enough to receive a business grant, which was, you know, I never expected getting that. Like I truly believed that I was never, you know, sent off that application. I thought, oh, what a good experience to like put together a business proposal like that, and then just thought I would never hear back. And then got to work with you and Jasmine and LVL UP, and that was another major restructure. But it's just about rolling with the punches, really being honest with yourself, and then finding ways to reshape things, I think, when you're not 100% happy with where you're at.
Lovely. So along that journey, what was the strategic or out of the box thing that you did that you really felt transformed the way you approach business? Was there a specific meeting or event, or maybe just a mindset shift that let you say, I can do this?
Yeah, I think it's almost a slight double up on what I was just speaking about, but it really was such a massive thing for the company and me, was just realizing that a number of things were just holding my passion back, and that didn't sit well with me. you know, we've spoken so many times, and like, you know, like I know I'm such a passionate person when it comes to my work and baseball, and you know, anything that I sort of gravitate towards, you can see my passion, and I felt like that was being dimmed a little bit. So I think, yeah, it probably was just the flick of a switch to go, actually, this can be so much more. And then having the courage and, yeah, being really brave, like having that 20 seconds of courage to go, okay, what can I do to fix this situation? Because I can see on the horizon, like all of these incredible things for my current clients, you know, future clients that I would die to work with, my own professional career, personally, how I want to feel every day when I wake up. I wasn't kind of like killing it in that sense. So yeah, so it was just that mindset change of, you know what, I am 100% in control of changing this company and making it bigger and better. And I luckily have a lot of amazing support around me. And I just went, you know what, I'm young. If it's ever going to work, it's now. If it's ever going to fail, it's also now. And it's okay if it fails. And fingers crossed, it didn't fail. And fingers crossed, it doesn't. Yeah.
It flourished. You
Yeah.
mentioned businesses that you would die to work with. Do you have a ideal brand or company that may be out of reach now, but put out into the universe that you've kind of the ideal one to work with?
Oh, it's such a tough question, because I have such a long list of like people and companies, but like the first thing that just came to my mind is like my fiance Steven works in the States right now. He's like a baseball coach and mentors like really little kids right up until they are off to college. And like the facilities that he gets to work at are like so state of the art and beautiful, but they're just kind of like a very small community. And I think that just those sorts of businesses, like a small sporting facility, small like AFL club, baseball club, like anything like that, where they just think, oh no, we're doing fine, to be able to say, yeah, you're doing fine now, but like, let me help you get to that next level. Because like I've done that obviously with other businesses, but yeah, there's something special about taking people on that journey who are really comfortable and happy with where they're at now, to sort of see their face, you know, see them get to that next level and go, whoa, we never thought that our little baseball club or our little, you know, bakery could ever get this far and spread so wide.
Awesome. So what is your number one key marketing tip for all businesses in general? If you had to pick one thing that applies to everyone.
Oh, come on, Ben, that's tough. Damn, Ben. Well, okay, the one thing that I would suggest to everybody is be consistent.
Love it.
Consistency applies to everybody, definitely, and it's universal across industry, size of business, number of products, experience level. If you can just get really consistent at whatever it is you're doing in marketing, you will see benefits. Whether it's posting 3 times a week, every single week for a year, that's consistency. If it's, you know, reaching out to 10 potential clients every week, that's consistency. Just whatever it is, like I have to remind myself of this as well. Like when I'm running Vizual, like, okay, consistency is so important. Like if I'm not practicing what I preach to people, then, you know, I'm not doing myself, you know, I'm not servicing my clients properly. I'm not living up to what I'm saying. And yeah, you can really see massive results, especially when it comes to like content marketing and social media and things like that. You see the most growth when you're just consistent. It's also, it's free. Being consistent is free as well. Like people forget that. Everyone's like, oh, it's so expensive to grow your Instagram, and it's so expensive to do this and do that. And yeah, sure, there's elements that are paid, but being consistent, sticking to your plan, like that's free. That's just a personal quality that you have to possess. And yeah, you'll see massive growth if you're just really, really, really consistent.
Yeah, I think when you said plan there, that's the partner to consistency. You have to have the plans, the schedules, the processes, just as important, and they'll allow you to be consistent.
the thing with consistency as well, it's really black and white. If you're consistent, if you're consistently doing a good job, you know, and if you're consistent in something and you're not seeing the results, then you're just consistently doing the wrong thing. It's still consistent. You just need to pivot and make it a positive thing for the business. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So my last question for you, as a female business owner, and we also have Jasmine O'Reilly as a female business owner, both incredibly smart and brilliant at what you do. Tip for our listeners, that's how you get brownie points. What tip would you give to other women in business?
Oh man.
We only have hard questions today.
Yeah, it's such an important thing to have women in business. I think this might come across just really simple, but I think my tip is to do it, to be a woman in business. Just start it. It's really tough. Everybody knows that. Yeah, like being a woman in most things has its challenges. Life, as an example, is pretty tough sometimes when you're a lady. But in business, like the amount of energy that you can bring, and love that you can bring, and compassion, empathy, it's just phenomenal. And like I work with men, women, like I have a massive scope of clients that fit into just different categories. And there's something really special, I think, in my opinion, about working with a female in business and just seeing their personal growth and confidence and just love for what they do grow as their business grows. It's such a reflection of us, and same with men. Like your business is generally a reflection of who you are, but I think there's too many women who just don't start their dreams or business or whatever it is because too many things are against them. It's just not necessary to hold yourself back. I think I don't know if you remember, Ben, you probably do because it was interesting, but when we had our first like strategy meeting with the three of us, including Jasmine, you said like what wakes you up in the morning.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, this is going to be so embarrassing, but I have this little plaque that sits on my desk that my mum bought me right when I first started Vizual that says boss lady, and I just held it up.
I do remember that.
Yeah, no doubt. You're like, whoa, this is a first. She's brought props. Told you I did acting. But no, like just that for me, like it means something. It means I've already overcome. There's probably some statistic out there that I haven't prepared, but there'll be some statistic that's a crazy, offensive number to female business owners, like such a lack of them in the world, or something like that. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be. There's no reason. Business owners are business owners, and I think everybody has some superpower and something special to add to the equation. And yeah, if you're a female out there that really, speaking about being honest with yourself, if you honestly think, oh, I've got something to give, but I'm just really scared, and I know there's lots of competitors out there who are men, and blah blah blah, just start. Just do it. Every time someone starts, that offensive statistic number changes, and that's that's something really cool.
I love it. Excellent. I think that's a beautiful way to finish. Liv, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. I think there's some absolute gems for our listeners to take from that conversation. If you would like to learn more about Vizual, please check out their website. It'll be linked in the description. And I'll see you all on the next episode of the LVLing Up podcast. Goodbye.
Thank you. See ya.